and today we're going to be talking about your BNI Connect member profile. So how do we fill out our profile? Where's all the different places that it shows up? What are some good kind of hints and tricks to getting the most out of your BNI Connect profile? Now before I start that though, I want to show you a couple of slides from a PowerPoint presentation that I've put together over the years. I'm not going to go through this whole PowerPoint today. This is a whole different presentation, but what I wanted to show you was just give you a little bit of kind of ideas at the scope of just what BNI Connect is. Right now, BNI Connect is a huge program, and BNI itself is rather big as well. By the way, I'm a member. I'm a member here in the great state of Rhode Island and on the east coast of the United States, if you're from another country, right between, about halfway between New York and Boston. And when I first became a member, a number of years ago, the only thing I knew about BNI was that I was in a BNI chapter, and there was these 22 other people that I was meeting with, and that was all that BNI was to me. And then I went to my first leadership team training about 6 months later to become the vice president, and lo and behold, there was a couple of hundred people that I met that were BNI members in the area. I said, wow, this is great. It's an even bigger system. Then I became a director consultant a couple of years later, and I go to my first national conference, and wow, there really are a lot of people in BNI. I met several thousand people. And here we are about 14 years later, from when I joined anyway. BNI is now 31 years old, but we're in 72 countries. There's 948 regions. There's over 7,000 chapters around the world. It is ginormous. And all of the people in BNI, just like you and myself, we're all using BNI Connect in order to facilitate our membership. So that's where all of our information gets put in. So it's kind of like BNI's QuickBooks, if you will, or QuickBooks for your chapter, because we keep track of how your chapter is doing. So all the referrals that you're passing. There's 7,000 chapters that input all of their referrals on a weekly basis. So we can follow along with the progress of your chapter. But more than that, it's also kind of like a WordPress for BNI as well, because all of the BNI websites are produced using the data from BNI Connect. So when you input your profile into BNI Connect, it's actually getting pushed out to at least 2, if not 3 public websites, all with unique URLs. That's a lot of exposure. And you have, because the fact that we have 7,000 websites out there, that's a lot of SEO that comes with the BNI name and with your BNI membership. There's about 200,000 members that are active here in BNI Connect. So there's a chance that you can find somebody in the world that you want to connect with. And then there's about 500 or so discussion groups in BNI Connect. We'll talk about that on the social media presentation in a couple of days. But just so you have an idea, it is one application. So we're all logging into one place. There's about 1,000 individual pages. I am not going to get a chance to go through all 1,000 pages in BNI Connect over the next couple of days. We're just going to hit upon the basics. There's about 120 reports, and what makes BNI Connect so unique is that it has to be translated into 47 individual languages, including about a dozen or so different versions of English. So unfortunately, we can't just use something like Google Translate in order to just push the content out there, because we have so many proprietary terms in BNI. There's about 1 million lines of code. They use a dozen or so different web technologies, but it really is a great program. And the thing that makes it so absolutely wonderful for my membership is that it's changed the way that I do business. When I first became a member, I went to my weekly meetings, but there was no way for me to keep track of my stats. I mean, if my vice president brought the report with him once in a while, then I could check to see how I'm doing. Now I can log into BNI Connect anytime I want to and check the health and the status of my membership. Not only that, but we are a global network. Those 200,000 other members. Now, before I turn to Google, before I turn to Craigslist, before I turn to Angie's List or any of these other places, I'm doing a search in BNI Connect in order to refer fellow BNI members around the world. We'll talk about that again more on the social media day on Wednesday. So without further ado, I'm going to back out of this PowerPoint presentation. Let's take a look at BNI Connect itself and start going through our profile and what that all means. So your profile is really, really important because it is going to show up in, as I said, at least 2 or 3 public websites, depending what country you're in, and in a BNI member directly that's accessible only to BNI members. Let me show you what that looks like. So if you're here in the United States, one of the places that your profile is going to show up is on BNIAmerica.com. So this is BNI Connect. I'm going to just open up a new tab here and go to BNIAmerica.com, and anybody in the world with internet access can go to this site. This is where I can search for a member anywhere in the United States, and I can search for, let's say, a plumber in Pennsylvania, or I can search for air conditioning or HVAC in Houston, whatever it might be. The easiest way is I'm just going to search for myself. So if I search for myself here, Jeremy Walsh, this will pull up my profile. There's only one Jeremy Walsh in the system, so that pulls up my match here, and I'm going to click on that, and this is my profile. So again, if I Google myself, this is one of the profiles that shows up because we have the power of BNI behind us. It gives me an opportunity to put my picture up. I can put a video into my business description. It has my logo, it has all of my social media links, the ability to send a message to me, and my ideal referral, my top product. All of this is great information. It's credibility building information. But it doesn't just show here. There's a couple of other public websites that it shows on, one of which is my regional website. So I happen to be in the region of Rhode Island. So if I go to my regional website, BNIRI.com, looks very similar to BNIAmerica.com and BNI Minnesota and BNI Arizona and any of the other websites that might be out there, except we customize it to our region. But if I go here and I go to find a member, and once again, I'm going to search for myself, and it pulls up my profile. And again, here we are. It's the same profile. What that means is I only have to fill it out once. It's going to put it on all of these websites. Now, the final place that this is located on the public internet is going to be BNIRI.com Wakefield. So this is our chapter website, and every chapter in BNI has their own custom website. It's already been built. This is what pretty much a default website looks like, but your webmaster can go in and make changes if they're so inclined. But here I can go to meet our members, for example, and these are all the different people in our chapter, and I could click on my profile, and there my profile is again. Again, same profile, 3 distinct and unique URLs, and Google is crawling these things. So if you Google yourself, it will find your profiles once it has been cached through all those Google servers. Now, you'll also be shown on the inside of BNI Connect here as well. And we go through BNI Connect and we can find people by using the directory. And that's this magnifying glass up here in the right-hand side. And if I do a search for myself here, Jeremy Walsh, there's actually 2 Jeremy Walshes. One is one of my test profiles in Antarctica. So let's take a look at my profile in Antarctica. Now this is what your profile probably looks like right now if you haven't gone through the steps to fill out your profile yet, which is why we're here. We're here to fill those out. So this is the profile that's not filled out, and you can see it has a bunch of tabs here, but there's really no information being shown or shared. If I go back though and I look at this profile, this is my regular profile here. So it can see, again, it has my name, it has my video that I put in there, it has the keywords, it has my company, has all of my contact information. On the inside, you do have the option to display your email address if you want to. But then it also has things like your weekly presentations, your gains profile, your tops profile. You can see all of the people that we're connected to, very similar to LinkedIn. We have testimonials. People can leave you testimonials and they'll display on your profile. There is a photo sharing gallery as well. You can share up to 20 photos. They could be just your own photos. They could be testimonials from clients, things like that. As I mentioned briefly, there is the ability to have conversations with other people around the world. And that's what the groups functionality is. And finally, we have our training history. All right, we have a couple of questions. Let me answer those questions real quick. Eileen says, how do you find the URLs for your state and local chapter? There's two ways to do that. The easiest way is just see here in the upper right-hand corner, there's a button that says Regional Website. Just click that button. That will bring you to your local regional website, so that will be your URL. That's the easiest way to find it. The other way would be that on the BNI America site, if we go back there, there is a thing on the left here that says regions, and you could look through the various regions here to find yours. Fairly straightforward in places like Hawaii and Rhode Island and Alaska. It's a little bit tougher in some places like Arizona or California, where there might be 10 or 12 different regions. You can also search across it this way. So let's do Los Angeles. We can see that there's a couple that are in or around Los Angeles. So does that make sense, Eileen? Does that help? Again, the easiest way, just click this regional website button in the upper right-hand corner. All right, Catherine says, where do we enter testimonials? Testimonials are part of the social media part of it. We're going to cover that on Wednesday, but you can always go there. You give them to people that you're connected with. So you can go to your connections, network connections, and anybody you're connected with, you'll have an opportunity to give a testimonial to, but I will show you that again on Wednesday. All right, Catherine? Or if there's time at the end today, remind me, and we can go over it after we get done with the main part. All right? Awesome. So how do we fill out our profile? Let's go back to the home screen. That's the easiest way. So I clicked that home button here in the upper left-hand corner. That'll take us back to the home screen. And the profile is easy enough to update by clicking this link here at the top of the page. It says Update Profile, My BNI page. Update Profile. If you're somewhere else in BNI Connect, you're lost in the reports or something like that, you can always click the Options button and go to My Account. So Options, My Account. Both links will take you to exactly the same place. All right, takes you to your profile. All right, so the profile is broken up into a number of different tabs here along the top. We see I have our main profile tab, we have our user profile tab, contact details, account settings, your bio. If you happen to be a director consultant, you'll see a director profile tab, and then your training history. So let's go through these different tabs and let's look at some of the things that you can change and some of the things that you can't change. So this first tab here, most of the stuff at the top of the page here you cannot change. And the reason for that is that it's essentially what is on your application with BNI. So your BNI application is kind of a contract between you and your chapter, so we can't just change the name out arbitrarily. However, you can recommend a change or you can ask a change, and it will send a request into your regional office. And the same is for your company name. But if you do see an error there, just request that change and your regional office will be happy to help you out. The next two things here, the registered tax office and VAT reference number, for those of us in the United States that have no idea what those things are, those are basically things that you have to put in other countries. So like VAT stands for value added tax. It's kind of their sales tax ID number. And it's the same thing with registered tax office. I think it's Australia that might use that, but that's why they're showing up here. You can safely ignore those. With the industry classification, again, those are the things that you would have applied with. If there is an error in those, please speak with your membership committee and or your regional office. Now, we get down to the bottom here, and this is where the fun happens. We have two different fields here, My Business and Keywords. My Business is, the way I look at this one, it's if you go to your weekly chapter meeting, and you have your open networking portion of the meeting, that first 15 minutes of the meeting where you're meeting new people, especially if there's visitors there and you're talking with those new visitors. That's what this My BNI Business is. It should be a very brief description of your business. So one mistake that I've seen people make is that they write, thousands of characters of text here, and you just don't want to do that. People aren't going to read that much information. So keep it short and sweet. This is one of the very few fields in BNI Connect that allow you to do some HTML formatting if you happen to know HTML. You don't have to, but it does allow it, which also allows you to do things like put a video in. And if anybody's interested in learning how to do a video or how to put the video in there, just drop a question in and I will go over that again at the end of the presentation today. The second thing here is the keywords, and the keywords are ultra important. The reason why they're so important is because that's how people find you in BNI Connect and on the regional websites as well. That's how they find you when they don't know your name. Most of the time when people are doing a search, they're searching by, I'm looking for a plumber in Plymouth, or I'm looking for a, underwater basket weaver in Virginia. Whatever it is that you're looking for, you want to make sure that people can find you. Now, we don't have quite the same budget and capacity that Google does. So we don't have, the super duper fancy algorithms that, guess at what you're looking for somehow by reading your mind. This is a database search, so it's a little bit different technique. It's more traditional. So it's going to search against your industry, your classification, your address, your things like that. But you want to supplement that with the keywords. So make sure that if there's other services that you provide that you think people will search for, to put them in there. And that goes for different permutations of words as well. So for example, if your industry is bookkeeping, but somebody does a search for a bookkeeper, it's not going to find you because it didn't find bookkeeper, it found bookkeeping. So make sure that you put bookkeeper into your keywords if your classification is bookkeeping. It also works great for locations. So if you do have locations that you do business in besides the town that your address is, you may want to put those in. You may want to put in counties, for example, if you happen to be in a place that has different counties or different areas. For example, here, Rhode Island, if you're familiar with the state of Rhode Island, it is the smallest state in the United States. It's 20 miles by 40 miles, which means that a lot of us do business in other states. So I put the abbreviations for Massachusetts and Connecticut in there. Karim asks a question. I'm in a Spanish-speaking country. Should my profile be in English or Spanish? That will depend on how you want to be found. Again, we're not doing any on-the-fly translations. So my recommendation would be to actually put keywords in for both English and Spanish. If you only want to be found by Spanish-speaking people, then just put only Spanish keywords in. If you'd like to be found by just English-speaking people, again, just put English in or a combination of both. Does that help? Awesome. Jeff says, will it find a single word among two using your example, residential plumber? Would it return a plumber? Yes. What will happen is that when you do a search, and we'll go over this more on Wednesday, when you do a search, there are exact matches and then there's partial matches. So the exact match would be residential plumber. So it would find that, but it would find partial matches for residential and it would find partial matches for plumber. So does that make sense, Jeff? Cool. Now the trick in BNI though, and BNI Connect, is to make sure when you're doing searches, search minimally in order to get more results. We're so used to being on Google and typing in as many words as we can to try to narrow billions and billions of websites down. This is the opposite. We want to put in the minimal amount of words so that we can see more results in order to find the person that we need. All right? Cool. If you make any changes on this page, just click the update button. Brittany says, how many keywords should we put in? How many is too many? I believe you're limited to 200 characters, if I'm not mistaken. So you can't really put too many in. You do have to be selective with that. And that's really to prevent people just completely overrunning it with a billion different keywords. One quick note is that most things in BNI Connect refresh immediately. So you put your picture in, you change your My Business description, whatever, that is changed everywhere immediately. So on the websites, it's all updated. Next person that goes to it is going to see it right away. The keywords, however, that is part of a whole keyword database that gets refreshed every 30 minutes. So if you make any keyword changes, that'll take 30 minutes to show up and start finding or being searched by that. Everything else is updated immediately. But if you do change anything, click the update button here at the bottom. All right, the next tab, we have the user profile tab. So the user profile tab is your username, your question, your password, your answer, your language, your time zone. Those are all pretty straightforward. Now the memorable question and answer, that's really important in case you forget your password. And let me just show you how this works. So if you have anybody in your chapter that has not lost their password or has not logged into BNI Connect, here's how to get them logged into BNI Connect. Get them to go to bniconnect.com, and if they've never signed into BNI Connect, have them click New to BNI Connect. If they forgot their password, have them click Forgot Password. And this is where it's going to ask me for my email address, and it's going to ask me for the CAPTCHA here, prevent robots. And then what is it going to do? It's going to ask me my secret question. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? So that's going to ask me whatever I have typed in this box. So make sure that you type out a good question. And the answer is case and space sensitive. So make sure that you capitalize things correctly, that you put things, periods and commas and things like that. It will be case and space sensitive. All right, now finally, we have our picture and our logo. So if you want to upload a picture or upload a logo, it's pretty straightforward. Just click on Change. And then we're going to click on the little magnifying glass, which will allow us to search our computer. And I believe in the app that will be coming out towards the end of this year, you'll actually be able to take a selfie if you really want to. Although I'm not sure how professional a selfie will be. Oh, whoops, I hit the back button. Let's try that again. Here we go. So I can click on Attach Image, and I can go search my computer for another picture. Oops, where is it? Here we go. Let's grab another picture here. Now it does have a 5 megabit limitation. It will give you the opportunity to crop it. But you don't have to crop it if you don't want to. And as I said, the next time I go back to my profile, it will have that new logo. All right, and that is the Profile tab. The next tab is going to be all of your contact details. So it has the most important thing on here, by the way, this top line that says, show me on the BNI public websites. If you uncheck this box, you will not be found on any of the public websites. So your regional site, your chapter site, or your country site, you will be hidden from all of those sites. People will still be able to find you within BNI Connect, but they won't be able to find you on the public sites. Assuming that is checked, you can choose which of the other pieces of information you would like to show. It has your phone numbers, your email address, things like that. We won't show your email address. It'll just have that send message button. You can put in all your Facebook and Twitter and blogs and YouTube and all sorts of stuff up there as well. By the way, if you happen to have more than one Facebook page, for example, I have multiple Facebook pages. I don't have a Ning or a Sun Tzu account, so I just used those from the drop-down list and put Facebook in its place. Down at the bottom is all of the address information, you can choose which of those is going to show up on the website, if at all. And then if you have a home-based business and you don't want your home address on there, just type in by appointment only in the address line. And that way the city and the state and everything still can be searchable, but it has by appointment only as the address. Make sure your billing address, though, has a legitimate address in it, and that way your regional office can get in touch with you if they need to. All right, the next tab is the Setting tab. And when you're sharing information with people in BNI Connect, you can choose which pieces of your profile you want to share with people. Your bio, your connections, your testimonials, picture gallery, email, and contact details. You can choose to share those with everybody, just people you're connected with, or nobody. Now, I highly recommend that at the very least that your contact details, you're sharing those with everybody. And the reason for that is that if somebody's looking for your services, let's say that they need a plumber, then you're a plumber and they search for plumbers, they're not going to send you a connection request, wait for you to accept that connection request, and then go and re-look up your phone number. They're going to want to get in touch with you right away. So again, I recommend sharing your contact details with everyone. The bottom of this has to do with certain social media notifications about the group posting and connection requests and testimonial requests. Would you like those to go to an alternate email address, and would you like them forwarded to email at all? So you can choose all those down here at the bottom. Again, click the Update button if you've made changes. Now the next tab here is the Bio tab. Fairly straightforward. It is just a lot of typing. So this is the part that is going to take you a little bit longer to go through. The bio is the standard bio that you will be asked for before you give a 10-minute presentation at your chapter. So if you fill it out here, you won't have to fill it out again on paper when your secretary-treasurer comes to ask you for it. You can put in 2 weekly presentations as well. And why would you want to put in weekly presentations and take all the time to type that out? Or you could put a video up there. And the reason is that BNI Connect, as I said, has 200,000 people in it. I can guarantee you 199,922 of them will never be at one of your chapter meetings to hear you give a 60-second presentation. Good idea to go in and stick a couple of weekly presentations in there. That way they can read them, or if it's a video, they could watch you give a presentation. The gains profile is great for looking up somebody else's gains profile before you sit down for a one-to-one with them. That's called having a gains exchange. Now, if you have only limited time, so you only have like 5 minutes to fill out your profile today, make sure you get a picture uploaded, make sure you have your contact details in there, make sure you have your keywords in My Business, and then on this page, make sure you have your TOPS profile. The TOPS profile is the most important one here because it is the one that is on the public websites as well. So that means that these are going to be, filling Google with information and giving you better search results by having your TOPS profile filled out. Now again, if you're a director, then you have a separate set of director information that you can upload that only will appear on the contact page of the regional website. And then finally, we have our training history. Now, the training history is not able to be edited by you. That is something that will automatically populate as you go to training classes like member success programs and chapter training and things like that. And that, my friends, is how to fill out the profile. And once you fill it out, as I said, if you want to check out what it looks like, just go to this magnifying glass and search for yourself to go see what you look like, or search for yourself on your regional website. Or down at the bottom of the page in the footer area, you can click where it says Profile, and that will bring you to the profile page. And you can check out what you look like. All right, so we are at the bottom of the hour. So what I'd like to do now is I'm going to show you how to find the videos and things like that. But if you have any questions, please do go ahead and start typing your questions in now. As I mentioned, I will stay on these calls until every single question has been answered. I think, last month when we did this, I think we were on for, I want to say closer to an hour, and other times we're on for 29 minutes. So only silly question is the unasked question. That said, as I mentioned, we are recording this. You'll be able to find the recording in two places. So one place to find the recording will be on the support site. Now you get to the support site by clicking this question mark in the upper right-hand corner. See this question mark? Click that and that will take you to the support site. Click on live and recorded webinars. So you'll find all of the recordings here as well as the schedule for live webinars. So earlier I had mentioned to, I think it might have been Jeff. Jeff, if you go to live webinars, go here. A good referral for me is to take this link up at the top. Take that hyperlink or take the hyperlink to one of these upcoming webinars and share those with your other chapter members, especially people that might be afraid to use BNI Connect, or maybe they're a 5-year member that's never logged in. Share these videos with them. And please, if you haven't signed up yet for the other ones, sign up now. Again, tomorrow we're going to be talking about the online slips. And then Wednesday, we're going to be talking about connecting with other members and testimonials and the groups and stuff like that. So, which Felice asks, can you go over the topics for the other webinars? So tomorrow is giving and tracking referrals. So we're going to talk about, all those slips that you have at the chapter meeting. Well, if you start recording those yourself in BNI Connect, you can track all that information going forward. So you can start to see who you're giving the most referrals to and things like that. The second one, the other one, connecting with other members. That one is going to be how to search BNI Connect and find people, how to send connection requests, how to give testimonials to people, how to have discussions with people. Member tools and reports later in the month, that is going to go deep into BNI Connect. We're going to go beyond the home screen and take a look at some of the reports and the POMS reports and the statistical reports and the absences reports and how to send visitor invitations and things like that. And then the last one, Tuesday, July 26th, is inviting and registering visitors. And we are going to talk about the entire visitor process and how BNI Connect can help you with your visitors, getting more visitors to the meeting and making sure that they actually show up once you've invited them. All right, does that help, Felice? Ricky says thank you. Michael says thank you. You're welcome to both. Eileen says, if there's missing information on my training page, how do I get that fixed? So if your training page is either empty or it's just missing details, contact your regional office. So they can manually add things into your training history if it was missed, or if it was really, really recent, like within a week or so. It could just be that they haven't submitted the attendance yet for whatever it is that you attended. But your regional office can definitely help you with that, Eileen. Let's see. Kathy says very helpful. Elizabeth asks, is it possible to have someone review and critique our profiles? So the best person to do that is going to be either somebody in your chapter that has been using BNI Connect, or your director consultant. If your director consultant should be able to go through your profile with you, give you some ways to improve it. If you're striking out, if you find that there's nobody locally that can help, you're welcome to shoot us an email here in BNI Connect, support@bniconnect.com, and we're always happy to help out. But you'll have the added benefit that somebody knows you and knows your business if it's somebody locally, so they can really help you on a more personal level than we'd be able to do. Does that make sense, Elizabeth? Awesome. Carlos Cornejo says he's from Peru, and thank you for the information. Carlos, thank you so much for being here today. I know we've had people from Peru, from India, from last month we had some people from the UK as well. So thank you. We are a global organization, so thank you so much for being here. All right, let's see. Catherine asks, is there a report to show me who has set up their profiles? Catherine, are you a director consultant, or are you a member or a leadership team? Okay, so as the president of the chapter, no. The only thing you could do is, what I'd suggest doing is just go to your chapter webpage and click through each of the profiles. That's the best I can offer you there. Your director consultant may be able to run a report. There is a report at the regional level that shows who has logged in and who hasn't logged in, but unfortunately you don't have that at a chapter level. All right, so Jeff and Catherine had asked before about how do we get that video up into our profile. So let me show you guys that now that we have a couple of minutes. I think we answered all the super pressing questions. But by the way, this is the last question I have listed. So if you do have more questions, feel free to start typing them in. I will be happy to answer any questions. So to get a video up in your profile, what you need to do is you do need to actually shoot a video. It can be as simple as, taking a cell phone video or having somebody take a cell phone video of you, introducing your business, giving a, I wouldn't make it much longer than 30 seconds to a minute, just a brief description of your business. And then what you have to do is upload it to a place that shares videos. YouTube is the easiest place to do that because it's free and it's pretty well known. They also offer the tools for embedding, but Vimeo also does things like that. I just happen to use YouTube a lot. We have our BNI Connect YouTube channel up there as well. So once you get the video uploaded there, what you need to do is just go and click on the video. And you'll see a couple of options on the video. Right here, there's a link that says share. Now you don't want this. This is just a link that'll bring you to this web page. What you want to do is you want to embed it in your profile. You want to stick it in your profile so it stays there. For that, we need what's called the Embed Code. And it's as easy as copying and pasting this link. It should start with iframe. So see how it says iframe at the beginning and the end? Now, depending the size of your video, like 420 is a bit wide to have on the screen. If we click show more, we can set a custom size. I would say, a size of about, like 280, 260, 280, I think is a good width for this. And once you type that in, it will redo the code for you up here at the top, and you just copy it. Now from there, I'm going to go to update my BNI page or go to options my account. And all you need to do is to paste that into my business. Now you do have to have something in there that with text. It could be a single period, but if it's just HTML code, BNI Connect is trying to think you're putting a virus in there or something, so you have to have some text in there, and then that iframe code. That's it. That's all you have to do. As far as uploading it, do you want it to be public or unlisted? I don't see any reason not to make it public. All of the videos that I've ever done here, they're all public. Unlisted, you can have it be unlisted if you don't want it to be searchable or you don't just want it out there floating on the internet. It can be unlisted and still be embeddable. It just means that it's not searchable. So it's kind of a hidden video until somebody has the link. So if you're more comfortable doing it that way, by all means, make it unlisted. You're putting it out there on the internet, so again, completely up to you. All right. Does that help? Does that answer how to do that, Catherine and Jeff? Yep, it is. It's pretty straightforward. Awesome. Those were the last questions I had. Do we have any other questions, comments, concerns, compliments? Jeff says, see you tomorrow. I do love going through these webinars and seeing the same names and faces through the course of 3, 4, or 5 or the whole series. I know we have Steve Elliott, who's a good webinar friend of mine and a regional admin in Arizona that's on quite a few of these, always sharpening his saw. So thank you for being here, Steve. And Dave Elliott as well. So Catherine, the recorded webinars, just click on the, Catherine, the links to the webinars, right? So the recordings, click on the question mark, right? And the question mark will take you to the support site. So click the question mark, go to live and recorded webinars. Now, I will have the July series once I have a couple done. I will be putting those in as well, but in the meantime, you're welcome to use any of the other months. Now, that couple of minutes that I did in the beginning is from one called Power of Connect. If you ever want to look at that one, that's a full hour. But then all of the rest of them will be there just like last month's. Again, the content is mostly the same. The questions are always different because we have different people on each of the webinars. All right, Karim says, greetings from Colombia. Thank you for being here. Awesome. We had Colombia, we have Peru, we have the UK, we have a couple, I noticed a number of different places in the United States. Canada, we have somebody from Canada here today as well. Thank you. All right. Cool. And any last questions? Otherwise, I will let you guys get on with your daily lives and on to your next appointments. All right. I look forward to seeing some of you tomorrow for our webinar. And in the meantime, happy connecting.